Imports coming across the Mexican and Canadian borders are now facing steep tariffs.
This as the taxes on imports from China doubled, and now the U.S. is facing retaliatory tariffs. Good Day's Robert Moses is in Hell's Kitchen this morning with more. Good morning, Robert.
Tina and Tashani, good morning to you. And we came to this stretch of car dealerships on 11th Avenue to illustrate one of the anticipated effects of these tariffs, and that is more expensive vehicles. The tariffs took effect right at midnight. 25% tariffs on Mexican imports are now in effect. The same is true for Canadian imports, with the exception of Canadian energy products, which are taxed at 10%. Last week, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau foreshadowed retaliation.
We will have an immediate and extremely strong response, as Canadians expect.
Indeed, Trudeau responded with a promise of tariffs on more than $100 billion worth of American goods. In addition to the tariffs on Mexico and Canada, tariffs on Chinese imports have now doubled from 10% to 20%. Not surprisingly, China also retaliated with tariffs of up to 15% on American farm exports. President Donald Trump contends that the countries have not done enough to stem the flow of fentanyl into the U.S., and tariffs will force action.
It's a very powerful weapon that politicians haven't used because they were either dishonest, stupid, or paid off in some other form. And now we're using them.
But economists warn that American consumers will feel the pain in the form of costlier cars and more expensive strawberries, avocados, tomatoes, beer, and tequila, among other products. Yesterday, the stock market tumbled in anticipation of the tariffs. And the president made another seismic foreign policy move. He paused more than $1 billion in military aid to Ukraine following his extraordinary Oval Office argument Friday with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people.
A White House official says the U.S. is pausing and reviewing the aid to ensure that Ukraine is, quote, contributing to a solution in the form of a peace deal with Russia. The president again criticized Zelensky.
Well, I just think he should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin.
Congressional Democrats criticized the aid pause. Congressman Dan Goldman, who represents parts of Manhattan and Brooklyn, said this is the exact opposite of peace through strength. Instead, what it is it's another extortion of President Zelensky, illegally withholding aid in order to get President Zelensky to agree to a minerals deal. And we can expect to hear more from the president on both Ukraine as well as these added tariffs when he addresses a joint session of Congress tonight at 9, and we will carry his speech live right here on Fox 5. And we are live in Hell's Kitchen this morning. Tashani and Tina, back to you.
All right, Robert, thank you for that report.